Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm red. Well, technically I'm not red. I'm like this peach kind of color. But anyway, people call me red. They've called me red for like as long as I can remember. I guess it's because I love red. Red is like my favorite color, like totally my favorite color. Anyway, I'm rambling. But I guess that's why Grandma made me this cool hood, because I like red. And so people call me Little Red Riding Hood. Well, they used to call me Little Red Riding Hood. Now they just call me Red because I'm not little anymore. But anyway, you have got to hear what happened to me the other day. It was just the most bizarre thing ever. See, like I was at home and Mom said, your grandma's sick. And me and my grandma, we are tight. And so as soon as Mom told me Grandma was sick, I was like really worried, right? And so I'm like, well, what can we do? We got to take care of Grams, right? So Mom's fixed her up a little basket and she said, I've got some goodies for her, some chicken soup and some freshly baked bread. I'm like, whoo, no wonder the house smells so good. Anyway, the goodies you eat when you're not feeling well. She said, I packed them up in a basket for you. You can take them to your grams. But stay on the path, young lady. Okay, Mom, I know the rules. I'm not little anymore, right? So off I go, me and my basket, heading off to Grandma's house. It's not really that far. It's a nice little trek through the woods. So I was walking and singing and enjoying my day. It was kind of sunny. And all of a sudden, I heard someone. And he said, hey, Missy. No one calls me Missy. They call me Red. Anyway, a wolf stepped out onto the path. And he said, hey, Missy, what you doing? I said, hello, I am not supposed to talk to strangers. I know better. I am not talking to you. And he said, well, I'm Tiberius L Wolf. It's nice to meet you. Now we're not strangers. Hi, I'm Red. Riding Hood, the hood. That's me. And he said, well, now we're not strangers anymore. I couldn't really exactly argue with that, but it wasn't exactly comfortable either. I mean, he was a wolf. But anyway, I was talking to him already. Nothing had happened, right? And so he asks me, hey, where are you going? I said, well, I'm going to Granny's. She's not feeling very well, so I got her these goodies. I'm going to take them to her so she'll feel better. And he said, well, why don't you go over there and pick her some flowers? I was like, ooh, Granny loves flowers, and they smell so good. It would freshen up the room, and it would make her all cheery. Oh, wait, they're not on the path. Mom said stay on the path. And the wolf, he's kind of tricky. He's like, well, they're not very far off the path. They're just a little bit off of the path. I'm still not sure. He said, hey, I'll watch you from here. You'll be just fine. All right. So I went and started picking me some flowers. I picked some yellow ones and some purple ones. I had a nice little bouquet for Granny. And I came back to the path, and the wolf was gone. He was supposed to be watching over me, making sure I was okay, but he was gone. Anyway, I had the lovely flowers. I was back on the path. I had my basket. Off to Granny's I went. So I get to Granny's and I knocked on the door. And I heard this voice, come in. I was like, whoa, Granny has a serious cold, man. She sounds funny. So I went on in and I put the basket on the table and I said, hey, Granny, I brought you some goodies. Mom made you some fresh bread and some chicken soup, and there's lots of stuff in there. How you feeling? And I walked over to the bed and she said, come closer. I leaned a little closer and I looked at my Granny. Okay, now my Granny hasn't waxed in a while, but no, seriously, it was bad. She was super hairy and she did not look right. I mean, I know she was sick, but this was just weird. I was like, Grandma, what big eyes you have. And she's like, well, the better to see you with, my darling. Like, okay. And Grandma, man, that honker, man, what a big nose you have. And she's like, oh, the better to smell the yummies you brought me with. It's like, okay. Grandma, what big ears you have, and they're pointy. Oh, the better to hear you with, my dear. And then Grandma smiled at me. Grandma, what big teeth you have. And suddenly Grandma started drooling and said, "The better to eat you with," and gobbled me up in one bite. Boom. I gotta be honest now, I'm glad he didn't chew, because that was when I figured out it was the wolf wearing my granny's clothing. No wonder Granny was so hairy. Now I tumble down into the pit of the wolf's stomach, and I bounce around, and I land, and I'm like, there's my grandma. She's sitting there, knitting. I'm like, "Grandma, what are you doing in the belly of the wolf?" And she said, "Hey, I was just laying there resting, and the next thing I know, big wolf comes in and just gobbles me down in one bite." And I was like, "Oh yeah, me too. Aren't you glad he didn't chew?" And she was like, "Yes, dear. Oh, watch out for the stomach acid." Oh, this is so disgusting. I'm like, "Granny, how are we gonna get out of here?" Well, Granny just went on knitting. I was having panic attack. I'm like, I'm stuck in a wolf. I don't know what. I don't know. Mom's gonna be really mad because, well, it's my fault the wolf is here, right? Because he wouldn't have had time to get here if I hadn't been picking those stupid flowers. I was like freaking out, and Grandma said, "Would you please calm down?" And just about that time, everything started shaking everywhere, all over the place. And next thing you know, I'm sitting on the floor, me and Granny, slimy and gross, but not in the wolf anymore. And, well, the wolf was still there, but yeah, he wasn't in very good shape, okay? He's not moving at all. And there's a really big, brawny looking man standing over him with a club. Well, Granny went up and said, "Oh, hi, John. I'm so glad you happened by." And she gives him a big old hug, and John carries the carcass of the wolf off, and me and Granny went and had some homemade bread. But you know what? I don't talk to strangers on the path anymore. See you guys later. Don't forget to be safe.